of Let's Get Rich. Your baby is a direct reflection of the emotional state that you were in when you made them. I don't know if a lot of us understand this. I don't know if we even grasp this type of concept, but they are indeed a direct reflection of our emotional state or status that we are in when we created them. What does this mean? This means that wherever you are in your life, okay, your baby is something like a download of all of that information, okay, being pushed through your lower extremities, okay, and brought into the universe, okay? So if you are a depressed person, then you are replicating this depression, okay, and downloading this into the universe. If you are an outgoing person, okay, if you are a critical thinker, okay, if you were community oriented, then this is also what you are downloading. I need for us to understand that our babies are a direct reflection of our emotional status and also of our mindset and also of our spirit set. But first beginning with our emotional status. We need to understand hereditary factors and understand how we are passing on, okay, a lot of this information, okay? But before we get there, we must understand that we are dealing with replicas of our emotions, okay? So when you're truly dealing with your offspring, okay, when you're seeking to understand them, you are truly dealing with yourself and seeking to understand yourself on another dimension and on another level. Only when you realize this can you truly help your offspring and yourself. When you help them, you help you. When you help them, you help you. Okay? Why is this? Because when you begin looking at your offspring like you're looking at yourself and you begin to notice patterns, okay? If you begin to notice the way they process their emotions are similar to the way that you process your emotions, then you'll begin to realize, hold up, I'm dealing with myself, okay? I'm dealing with my offspring. I am dealing with myself, okay? The relationship you are building with your offspring is just another another branching of the relationship with you. Okay? We must keep that in mind. Why? Because as we grow up in a world where emotional disciplines isn't taught, emotional intelligence isn't taught, spiritual intelligence isn't taught, okay? And since we have to accept that if it isn't taught, then we may not have that teaching inside of us. We may not have, okay, the know-how to process our emotions, to process what our spirit is enduring and going through. Okay, we may not have the know-how. And when we procreate and have offspring, we are also procreating the same emotional state. Sometimes it's the same sicknesses. Okay, sometimes it's the same weaknesses or even the same strengths. We have to keep this in mind. Okay? We have to keep this in mind so we can truly understand the concept of a generational curse. It's generational, okay? Meaning it passes and transcends through each generation, okay? Why? Because the father and mother keep replicating themselves. They replicate in this pain. We must understand this. So we can give the next generation a living chance. We can give them a chance to live, a chance to love, a chance to be free, and not under the condemnation of their own emotions, the condemnation of their own thoughts. Because we know we are more than our worst enemies sometimes. Sometimes we can be our own worst nightmare. Yes, we created this reality that we're walking through so we can have turned this dream. We could have turned, okay, such a wondrous life into a nightmare. And it's only a nightmare because we can't process our emotions. We can't process our thoughts. We can't sit with ourselves. We have not learned the difference between our feelings, our senses, and our emotions, so we misorganizing information. Okay? We are growing overly sensitive in certain ways, okay? And not using our sensitivity in other ways. We are lacking in other ways, okay? We must understand that we are dealing with ourselves. okay? And for us to truly understand this, take a look into the father and son relationship. See that the father has created his direct reflection in the son. If the father was secure, so will the son be secure. If the father was an anxious person, so will the son also be anxious and have anxiety. If the father, okay, had good habits, okay, such as being a critical thinker, such as not being an overthinker, but also being a balanced doer with those thoughts, such as being active and present within life, okay, you will also see the same energy within the son. Like father, like son. That saying is there for a reason, as well as with the daughter and mother, okay? And we understand that a lot of women grow up with conflict with their mothers, okay? For reasons I've laid out in previous videos. Go check those videos out. But women have also grown up to become their mothers as well. Now, if women have grown up becoming their mothers, even though they disagreed with their mothers, and boys have grown up becoming their fathers, even though they disagreed with their fathers, okay? How can this happen? Okay? This happens because we are direct downloads, replicas of our emotional states of our parents. The emotional states, as well as the mind states, the spirit states, and then the physical states. Sometimes we can be downloading poverty. An impoverished mind creates an impoverished spirit that creates an impoverished body that's creating poverty everywhere it goes, setting flame to everywhere it goes, okay? So I just wanted to shed that light since we're speaking on our adolescents, our offspring, okay? With the suppressed throat chakras that don't always have the microphone, that don't always have the attention that's deserving, okay, and needed to truly liberate themselves of these lower emotions, okay? Because we need to understand that a lot of the lower emotions we feel predate us in our existence. They coming from our family. They coming from up top. This is the generational curse, okay? Nevertheless, I'm here to provide solutions, make you aware of the problem, okay? And enlighten you on your responsibility and accountability that you have to yourself, everything within your reach, everything that you love, and also to the universe, okay? And what we're gonna do, the first step is we're gonna enrich ourselves. Right now, if you're watching this video, if you're looking at my face or listening to my voice, you are enriching yourselves. You are tapped in with your own frequency and vibration, there to learn, okay? Operating in student mode. We must enrich our minds, enrich our spirits, and enrich our bodies, okay? This is my philosophy. And our saying is, let's get rich, shall we? Until the next time, be sure to subscribe to my channel, Yahlil Lakwame, on all social platforms. Post notifications on, please. Comment any questions, comments, or concerns you may have.